It's 12:01 p.m. Welcome to Real Estate in Kenya with Ruben Kimani. I'm glad to see you today. It has been a while, a few weeks, been away, and now I'm back, energized and ready to give you more information, a lot of information about real estate and investment. This channel is all about investment, about real estate. We give you a sector or industry information that is so helpful to majority of Kenyans, so that you're able to invest with wisdom, you're able to invest with information in your hands, and you're able to make the right decisions. They say that you know a person best, not at their best moments, but at their worst. It also works in properties. Today we are speaking about, we are sharing, we are engaging you about why the rainy seasons is the best time to buy a property. It's the best time to invest in real estate. It is the best time because properties, most of the properties you see out there in the market, be it a house, be it land, and many other products in real estate, they are at their worst during a rainy season or when there is extreme weather like we are having now. We are in a rainy season. Over a number of years, there are a number of estates, and I believe you have seen this in the news. There are a number of estates that have flooded. People have been displaced. People have lost millions of shillings in terms of their houses, their homes, and their investments. A good example, somewhere around Lake Nakuru, there was flooding that displaced communities during a rainy season. I believe you have also watched in the news about estates, about places in the Rift Valley, along the lakes that have been flooding. I think it's because of global warming. The lakes have been rising. Somewhere around Baringo, where even some schools were displaced. So if you had bought some land there, imagine, it would have been submerged. So rainy season presents a very good opportunity for you to be able to check the property you are buying, to be able to buy that property. You'll get the best property at this time. This is Real Estate in Kenya with Ruben Kimani once again. Welcome and karibu. We talked about riparian land a while ago in another video. You need to check it in my YouTube channel. And we told you what to do exactly to be able to ensure you don't buy land in a riparian zone. You can watch that. What are the advantages? And that's what I'm sharing today. What are the advantages of buying a land or a house? Let's start with a house. Buying a house during a rainy season. There are many advantages. I'm just going to share 5 of them very fast for your understanding. Why do you need to buy a house during this rainy season? Despite your plans, your budgets, all the plans you've been having over the years, why is this the right time? Number one, rains reveal the quality of the roof. Have you ever built a house when it is in a dry season? When the rain comes, that's when you know if the guy who did, or the contractor who did the roof, did a good job. That's when you're able to see whether the roof can withstand heavy rains. It can be able to withstand severe winds, can be able to resist UV rays. Of course, some sheets might be of low quality, can be able to prevent leaks. This is the time to do so. So if you are to do a site visit for one of these estates that are being advertised, especially during this time, it's so easy to know whether it is leaking. Number two, it also exposes the quality of the drainage system, especially these big estates. When it floods, when it rains heavily, especially in Nairobi, there are roads that are blocked. There are estates that floods. I remember South Sea, and the joke was going around about this South Sea, because there are places in that estate that were flooding. If you're going to Kiambu Road right now, and you go to an estate when it has rained very heavily, especially during this season, it's so easy to know the places that have blocked drainage. They are waterlogged. These are the best times. Number three, it also reveals the general drainage of the area. Apart from the inside the estates, where you may see the water is flooding in one section of the estate, or maybe near your unit because the land is not even. The overall drainage of the area is well revealed. You may have estate in 20 acres of land, in 10 acres of land, some in even 100 acres of land. Of course, the land is not even. So you're able to see some areas, especially the sloping areas, where you may encounter challenges if your house was located there, so that you make a better decision. Number 4, it is also show the quality of the materials of the equipment that have been used, especially when it rains severally. That's when we talk about the roof. It's also the paint. Some of the paint will start peeling off, or the quality of the wood that have been used, the doors that have been, the windows, and other materials, especially when there's extreme weather. That's when some of these materials wear off. So when you go during a rainy season, most likely you'll be able to see signs of the materials that were, signs of the qualities of the materials that were used during the construction period. Number 5, the true feeling of the estate. I shared about this with a friend of mine when they were looking for a house. Basically a home for their family. Sometimes there are places you go, all the factors might be okay. The house might be okay, the size might be okay, the materials that have been used are okay. Everything seems to be okay, apart from you don't feel like you want to stay there. It's something that you cannot be explained. It's sentimental in nature. That's the sentimental value sometimes of making decisions. Also, the unconscious mind is able to see things that you cannot be able to explain. This is called the gut for those, especially when you're making decisions. So when you go during a rainy season, this is at the worst, especially if you have rained heavy over a period of time, say like over the next 1 month. You can actually be able to tell whether this is a house that you can be able to buy. It is at its worst. You can actually have better feelings if it's sentimental. If the decision is sentimental, you may have better evaluation of whether you can buy that house or not. Those are 5 things. And I believe that is for the house. But for the land, and most people have been asking, this is interesting. There's a place in Kagudo Road. Somebody bought land during a dry season, and they built a house, and in those areas the rainfall is not as high as other areas, it's very low. So it took so long for the rain to come. So when the rain came, that area became a dam. It was somewhere in a sloping, and the gradient was not good. Just to explain, it was somewhere that was sloping, it was somewhere that the gradient was not very good. So this place became a dam, and those people had to move out, of course. And of course, that thing was trending. People are asking many questions, and it is not good for industry. So for land, it is also very tricky. This is the best time when you ask you to come for a site visit. This is the best time to do so. But at Username Investment, of course, we do our surveys. We have very good professionals who go to the ground. They check the slope of the land. There are places where we are not able to buy plots. We can buy a huge project of like 500 acres, 300 acres, but there are places we have to mark them because we know those places are not habitable when the rainy seasons come. But this is the best time to do a site visit. Let me give you 6 reasons why you need to buy land during this rainy season. This is the best. Number 1, you are able to identify land at the right location. This everything seems perfect, especially during the dry season, especially in some areas. We have projects spanning all across the country, especially in Nairobi, in all counties around now. That's Machakos, Kajiado, Kiambu County here. I'll tell you for a fact, in Kiambu County, the soil is red. We have projects in Ngong. The soil there is red, and there are some rocks. And the gradient there is a bit uneven. There are hills, there are places that are raised, there are places that are down there. But some counties like Machakos and some section of Kajiado County, you have black cotton soil, and the land is flat. So there are places that flood during the rainy season. So everything seems perfect. You may visit some piece of land during a dry season, only for it to flood during a rainy season when you have built your own house. So you're able to identify the best places to buy land at this moment. If you go to our projects, we have this experience. So we are able to foresee places that can flood. So in our project, you are safe. Please come and visit us. But in some places, some organizations, some individuals, or some location, if you go at this time, it will be impossible. Not to discourage you to buy land, because there are good reasons for some. There are people who buy land for other reasons. You don't just buy land because the place does not maybe has a very good gradient. The people will buy land in places that are even waterlogged for a different reason. That's why I'm saying, for most people who are afraid of waterlogged waterlogged pieces of property, this is the best time to go there and check. Number two, you can ascertain the real value of the land at its worst, just like the way I talked about. If you want to know a good person, you know them at not at their best moment, but at their worst. This is the best time to ascertain the value of a certain property. There are properties that are in very good location, but when it rains, they become a dam. So during a dry season, property can be very expensive. But during a rainy season, the same property can be of no value. It's not even cheap, because you can't build there unless you keep fish, become a fish pond. You cannot use that for any other reason. So rain presents a property in its worst condition, and this is the best time to know whether it is valuable or not. Number three, you're able to negotiate a good deal. What happens during, this is a month of May. In some places, there'll be a lot of rain in April, May, and June. In some places rain in August. You need to look at this season. So if you come during this season, you find most properties are not accessible for most organizations. The few properties that are accessible, people shy away during this season. And that's why I'm telling you, this is the best time to visit, because the demand slightly goes down for properties during this season, especially land. So it is also possible for you to be able to negotiate a bargain or a small discount, because when the demand goes down, when the demand goes down, the prices also go down. So you can use that advantage and negotiate for a good deal. Number four, you can assess the accessibility of the project. This is very important. One of the things that we struggle with when we are purchasing big pieces of property to create gated communities for you is the fact that properties are very good, but they don't have access. What I mean is that you can't drive yourself to the project. How are you going to live there if you can't drive yourself to the project? So this is the best time, because the best of the roads that we have in our country, including tarmacs, they flood during this time. Of course, you have heard about accident, serious one that have happened during a rainy season like this one, all across the country, and they happen even in very good roads. Even the Thika super high that was built during the Kibaki regime, may his soul rest in peace. Some times ago, there's a place that flooded somewhere near NYS. The drainage was not good. I think they rectified the problem. It rained so heavily and it flooded. The best of roads during these seasons are not accessible. So it is important for you to do site visits so that you can establish where you cannot be able to access and make a better decision. We have really tried our best in our projects to ensure that they are accessible whether there is rain or not. If you go to a Nakuru project, you'll be able to access it. Nakuru Havana Estate Phase 4 that we launched barely a week ago, they are fast moving. You can come and check it from us. It is accessible. You check our project in Ngong, it is accessible during this time. I remember sometimes in 2016 when we were selling land in Ngong, we went there as a pioneer. When every other company was not selling it because they were focusing so much in Machakos and Kajiado, especially Kitengela, the sign of Kaguru, that were not accessible. We could access all our projects in Ngong with ease, and we were able to sell a lot because we took advantage of the challenging situation. You can also take advantage, go through this time and check accessibility of projects. But I would like to give a disclaimer. There are people who will go there and realize this project is not easily accessible, refuse to buy anything. What I'm trying to tell you, of course, roads do come. Like in Ngong, we never used to have a tarmac 4 or 5 years ago, but the tarmac came barely less than 2 years ago, and every other place is accessible. You also have to use your own intuition, make a decision. You should not run away from investment because of challenges. What you should do is to evaluate the risk that lies thereof. So if you see a road is not accessible, the question to ask, can this road be accessible in many years to come? Of course, if the answer is yes, you invest. So I'm not trying to discourage you to invest during this rainy season. I'm trying to tell you actually you can take advantage of this season to make the right decision. Number 5, you're also able to see the drainage, the general drainage system of that area. Like I say, some parcels are so flat in an area where water come and maybe sit there. You'll find some areas where water will settle on the project that you have done. You can only know that during a rainy season. Number 2, you can also know where your plot lies. Does it lie in a place that might have problems when it rains? So this presents the best time to go and check exactly that. So you're able to see the general drainage of the area. The last thing, and I talked about that when I'm talking about the advantages of buying apartments, homes during this season, houses, is less competition for properties, especially during this season. The number of sales, especially for companies, goes down a bit. Not so much, it goes down a bit. Because if you have a property in Kitengela that's not accessible, you'll not do a site visit there. You have a property in Machakos, in Kagudo Road, and maybe some places in Juja that have black cotton and don't have access. The demand for those properties goes down. What happens? You can be able to negotiate better discounts with companies. You might even find companies that intentionally, they will not tell you, that are giving these discounts because they know their property might be less desirable at this particular time. So take advantage of that. If you have to negotiate, you negotiate. Just like in stocks, the moment you see everyone is afraid to invest in stock, that is the time you need to be afraid. If everyone is going to the stock exchange, that's the time you need to hold. That's the time you need to actually check, because that's how it works here. If you see people shying away from something, you have to critically check what they are not saying, what they are not managing. But if you're able to manage it, you come out a winner. You're able to take advantage of many of things that most people are not willing to solve. So there is less competition for these properties. We talked about riparian land. I know people keep asking, especially during this particular period. Riparian land is basically land that is on near a river, a dam, or a water body. Basically, for a river, it has to be 6 to 30 meters from the highest water mark. For a dam, it is usually 30 meters from that dam. That land belongs to government, is public land. You should not do anything close to a water body. Of course, at Username Investment, we also check that we have professionals on board, and we ensure that we don't sell you properties next or in a riparian zone, in a water, in a road reserve, and many other government land or public pieces of property. Thank you so much. I believe this is helpful to you. Like I said, when people are running away from challenges, that's the time you need to check and see whether you can take advantage. This is the time to buy land. This is the best time to buy a home, to buy a house. Do that site visit during this time. Welcome to our site visits from Username Investment. They are free every Wednesday and Saturday. Come and see for yourself the projects that we are doing. If you have been invited by other organizations or individuals, this is the best time to go and see, assess the actual value, the actual state of the property at its worst, the extreme weather condition at its worst. You'll actually be able to see whether it's something that you can invest in, whether you can build your house there, and such kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching this. Every other 2 weeks I'll be here talking about real estate in Kenya with Ruben Kimani. Every other 2 weeks, every Thursday, fortnightly. God bless you and have a very nice day.